Good evening, everybody. Just giving everyone a moment to join us. Hope everybody has had a great week thus far. Happy Friday Eve. Today we're going to be talking about divorce and finding happiness after divorce. Make sure you like, share, and post this video. Hey, Freddie, I see you're on. Thanks for sharing it on your page. Please like, share, and repost. I know that some of you all are doing watch parties. Thank you so much. Hello to the people that I can't see. Hey, big brother, I see you're on. Hey, little brother, big little brother, you're on too. Good evening, everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy Friday Eve. I always like to ask what y'all cooking tonight. What's for dinner? Hey, sis, I see you're on. Hey, Terry. Thank you all so much for joining me. Hey, Isaac, I see you're on. Good to see you. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Well, again, thank you for joining me. It's Thursday. I see, Freddie, you having leftovers. I wish I would try it with leftovers, unless it's some barbecue. No leftovers here. I might as well break out a sandwich for before I give them leftovers. Oh, hey, Crystal. Thanks for joining us tonight. Got a couple of new faces in here. Well, I'm Miss Council, uh, as printed on my shirt. I know it looks backwards. Shout out to my friend Angelita for making these shirts for me. Good friend of mine. We go way, way back. But thank you so much for joining me tonight, where I'm going to be talking about happiness after divorce. I like to always recap on what we talked about last time. So I've been posting these videos for about 2 weeks now, and I love the interaction. I have my camera right here in front of me. I can see the comments as they're coming in. So I love it when the audience is participating. If you have questions, drop them right in there. I'll respond back to them. Comments, I'll read them out live. You guys know how I am. And for anybody who doesn't catch this whole video, I post it immediately after I finish my live. I like to call it a broadcast, but I'll post it, and you can share it with your friends, share it on your stories if there's or on your pages if there's anything that I say that you like. Hey, SB, I see you just joined, and brother-in-law. But please, I like to see your thumbs up. I like to see your likes. I like to see your hearts to let me know that I've said something that you like, you agree with, you disagree with. But I love your interaction. And again, thank you so much for everybody tuning in and joining me again tonight. So again, we're going to be talking about happiness, finding happiness after divorce. So on um, last time we talked about happiness, and we were talking about some tips. I always say happiness is comes from within you. And before I do that, I neglected. I've been over here talking to everybody. I forgot to tell you, I am Miss Counsel, and I'm a relationship coach, and I help divorced women get their lives back after divorce, and remarried women have a successful second marriage. So we have a Facebook group called Divorced Like Us, and I have already included that link. So if you know a woman that is divorced or has been divorced, it doesn't matter if she's been remarried, share the group with her. And it's the support group, and as an opportunity for us to interact and help each other. So the tips that I gave from last time were not to make excuses. Um, you know you have time to do now in your marriage what you haven't had time to do before. My title was the how to save your relationship during quarantine. So that was one of my tips. Don't make excuses. You have time to do things now that you didn't have time to do before. We can't say that the work and is in the way, or the hustle and bustle having to commute. Most of us are working from home, or a lot of us are, but the things that were in the way before are no longer in the way. Rediscover what your person likes. And we talked about, asking questions, and starting conversations so that you can learn more about them. It doesn't matter if you've been together for 2 months, 2 years, 20 years, you still can learn something from about the person that you're with. And also, I talked about doing a weekly check-in. My husband and I do a weekly check-in. I literally go to Pinterest and find these questions, and um, he humors me every week, and we always discover something new that we didn't know about the other. Um, and then the other thing is, when you ask questions, um, listen to the question, listen to the answer. Don't sit up there and formulate your next question or your response. So just listen. And then the last thing was focus on a smile. What can you do today to bring a smile to that his or her face? So today again, we're talking about finding happiness after divorce. And so I just want to say that I do not advocate for divorce. I believe in love. I love to see people be happy. And that's the whole reason why I'm doing this, is because I feel like there is some element in a person's life that they're not happy with. And it may be because of relationships. It may be because of a past divorce. And I want to help people by giving them tips, giving them tools that'll be able to give them some right now change of things that they can do to enhance their lives. So whether you're single, you're divorced, you're married, there are going to be things that I'm going to tell you that are going to help you. And again, share it with your friends, and help them as well. So let's talk about happiness after divorce. Divorce really takes a toll on you. I got married at a young age, right after college, and I ain't had no business being nobody's wife at that age. I was what, like 22, 20, something like that. I had no business, but nobody could stop me. I was all in love and everything. So, um, it happened. I got divorced. Some divorces are amicable, others aren't. They're a little nasty, a little ugly. And it might be a situation where you have a child together and you have to co-parent with somebody who you don't really get along with anymore. After divorce, you may have some stress because of that situation, learning how to work with your co-parent. You may have develop depression. Um, Sometimes people have low self-esteem. They lose their identity. I felt like I lost my identity. They may deal with some loneliness, lack of support, and let me explain what I mean by lack of support. Um, I felt like I couldn't share with my friends and family what was going on, because you know how it is, and you're in a relationship and you feel like, man, if I tell my brothers are on here right now, if I tell my brothers what's going on, they gonna go solve a problem, you know, and you don't know if you're gonna reconcile with that person, and then everything be fine, and they at the cookout getting the stare down, getting pulled to the side to get talked to. So, I felt like I couldn't share things that were going on. I certainly wouldn't share with my mother, or my close friends. And sometimes you're embarrassed about what's going on in your life, and you don't want to tell other people. So, by default, you end up going through things by yourself. So that's what I mean by lack of support. Doesn't mean that your friends didn't want to support you, but maybe you didn't share. So, those are some of the things that the divorce kind of it takes a toll on you. What are some of the other things y'all share with me in the comments? What are some of the other things that you kind of go through with divorce? Some of the feelings, some of the emotions, or what are some of the obstacles? Y'all share with me in the comments what some of those things are. I've already talked about the stress, depression, loneliness, loss of identity. Um, you lose your identity sometimes, because my identity was wife and mother. So when I always joke about this, when people would say, "Oh, well, what are you interested in?" I was like, "I like jazz and long walks in the park, and I like reading." Child, that wasn't none of me. Mm-mm. The real truth was I like Hannah Montana everything. I knew all the words to High School Musical songs. Dora was my homegirl. We were always looking for the map. I mean, those were the things I was doing on a daily basis, when my child was younger, but I was just making up this persona because I didn't really have an identity outside of that relationship. So there was a new normal that I wasn't used to, and I had to figure out what that looked like. Oh, I see. Gwenna Copeland, thanks for your comment. Lack of having two incomes and parenting alone. Yes, definitely. Having a lack of those two incomes, I experienced that. And when you go from trying to manage a household to trying to pay all those bills on your own, that can be quite challenging. Sometimes you don't have the support that you may desire from your co-parent, and so you're doing those things on your own. So that's a good point, Gwenna. And then also parenting alone, that happens to us sometimes, where we don't have that relationship, or for whatever reason that co-parent has chosen not to be there and help participate. So I certainly can relate to that. I see, not feeling beautiful anymore. Listen, um, I feel you. I was there, and I talk about that in my book too. I looked in the mirror and I didn't know who was looking back at me. I'm like, who is this person um, looking back at me? Whose voice is this? Because I didn't even recognize it, but because of the fact that I felt that something was wrong with me. Something was wrong. Divorce made me feel like I had failed at something. And I'm a person, I'm a winner, but I didn't control another person's actions. So I felt like I had failed at something. Lack of trust. I agree with you, Nylor. You feel that sometimes after a divorce, relationships trying to move on to other relationships, and even when they're platonic relationships, it's difficult to trust anybody because you may have a feeling of the person that I chose to marry. I walked down the aisle. I made these vows before God and in the church and everybody else, and some ain't turn out right. They turn out to be somebody else. So maybe it's a lack of trust in other people, but maybe even trust in your own instincts. I've experienced that as well. I can't trust me because I'm making bad decisions about people. So that, I think that lack of trust is a good point, and it could go both ways. So thank you all for your comments about divorce, and the toll that it takes on you. I think it can really do a number on your psyche, and just kind of make you look at yourself in a total different way because of it. So definitely it takes a toll on you. So that's one of the reasons why, because I've been through all of that I want to help other people get through it. Sometimes you just want somebody to say, hey, here you go, it's written down, these are the steps. Nowadays, even if I'm baking something I know how to bake. Now, I'm not going on Pinterest to look up how to make a lasagna, how to make tacos, or anything like that. But we, I go out to Pinterest to figure out how to do pretty much anything, or there's a YouTube video out there to learn how to do pretty much anything. So sometimes I feel like people just want some steps. I don't want to figure it out. I don't want to. I need some instructions. How many people out there, when you're putting together something, you read the instructions? Give me some likes. Who's reading the instructions when they're putting things together? Those are the people who might need some help and need some tips and some steps to to get through things. I'm one of those people. I'm following the instructions. I'm laying everything out. How many screws do I have? What type of tools do they say that I need? So sometimes we need some steps. We need somebody to tell us what to do. Um, so thank you all for participating in that activity. Angelita says she reads them and take inventory of the parts. Yeah, I definitely do. I'm one of those people. I need some instructions, y'all. So I like to provide y'all with a quote, of course, from one of my favorite places, Pinterest. Y'all may have figured that out about me by now. Um, this quote is from Jay Shetty, and if you know who Jay Shetty is, he's an influencer on Facebook. I see a lot of videos from him, a lot of positive videos where it kind of shows you a different perspective on different situations. But I know that I like watching them because I know outside of it, or at the end of it, is going to be a positive message. So this quote is what I want to apply to happiness. And it's interesting that it came across my timeline today as I was preparing. Well, if I was preparing, but I was on Instagram posting, but I saw it, my point. um, the quote says, when nobody else celebrates you, learn to celebrate yourself. Mm-hmm. I like that. That's what caught my attention. When nobody else compliments you, then compliment yourself. See, I got to read this with a little attitude. Mm-hmm. You heard what the man said. It's not up to other people to keep you encouraged. It's up to you. I'm liking this quote even more. People who know me, I'm really feeling this quote. Encouragement should come from the inside. That right there, yes, Angelita. I mean, that quote was everything. But if he had stopped at when nobody else celebrates you, learn to celebrate yourself. Listen, you got to be able to pat yourself on the back sometimes. When you listen. I made some macaroni and cheese last week. I was trying make some seafood macaroni and cheese. Sometimes you just got to sit back like, girl, you did that. I was looking for my family to say, oh yeah, that was delicious. But sometimes you got to pat yourself on the back if nobody else gives you a compliment. You walk past that mirror and say, girl, you look good. Man, you look good. Because that has to come from you. Because don't wait for anybody else to do it. So let's talk about happiness. I think that quote kind of sums it up. And like I said, it was interesting that I saw it as I was preparing. I always look for something. I come up with my topics and I look for things to inspire me as I'm going along. So let's talk about, what does your happiness look like? What does happiness look like? Is happiness in a piece of mama's red velvet cake? Is happiness when you open your eyes and the sun is shining? Or is happiness, y'all, I need to see y'all comment. Let me know. Is happiness, for me, I would love to go to the beach and put my feet in the sand. I didn't say go in the water. I didn't say swim. I say put my feet in the sand and have somebody bring me a drink. Just walk it out there to me of my liking. What does your happiness really look like? I can't tell you. It's something that you have to define. You have to figure out what that is. And remember, I said it's something that's found within you. It's not something that comes from someone else. And you're going to hear me say this often in these live videos. You're going to see my posts. Happiness is within you. Listen, y'all, I love my husband. I love my family. But they are not the primary source of me being happy. I once thought that a relationship was just what I needed in order for me to be happy. And I felt that was the missing piece. My career was on track. I had bought a house and, it seemed like everything was great, but I felt some emptiness. And I thought that it was a person that was needed to fulfill that. But I want y'all to know that it is something that's within you. Angelita says, happiness for me would be having nothing to do and sleeping. Yes, I know you. That would be nice. And nobody crawling all over you asking for anything, that somebody else would take care of those needs, right? Yeah, definitely. What does happiness look like for you? Is it what's important to you? Is that what happiness is? Is it those things that are important to other people? Is that possible? What does your happiness look like? Remember, it's something that's found within you. I'm not going to tell you what your happiness looks like because it's something that you have to define. You have to figure that out. But that is the key to happiness after divorce, after a trial, after a tribulation, after having a tough day at work, after you get fired, you know, after you burn the macaroni and cheese. But whatever it is that makes you happy, You have to determine what that is, and you have to know how to get to it. So yeah, I know you're asking me, well, what's the point? Why are we talking about happiness after divorce if you ain't gonna just tell me what it is? We talked about giving step by step. Okay. So I'm gonna give you some tips on how to locate that happiness, okay? So how do you find happiness? Again, I'll say it's within you. Remember that quote? It's and that Jay Shetty had, and of course I'm looking at it. Um, it's not up to other people to keep you. He said encourage, but I'll say to keep you happy. It's up to you. I believe that the happiness is within you. You have to already have the ability to be pleased, the ability to have joy. It's somewhere within you. You know how when you go to church they say you should never leave the same way that you came. Well, that's a choice. You have to open your heart and open your mind to be able to receive a word, a blessing, that's going to change you. So it's being open. It's a choice. Happiness is a choice. Now, one of the things that I say in your search for happiness is you got to get comfortable with you. Now, this is the one part where I really need y'all to tell me, who are my people out here who like being by themselves? Like, if you like being by yourself, give me a heart. If you are a person that you got to be around other people, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. So let me see them. So who are my, and I'm not saying are you introverted or are you an extrovert, but do you like being around people? I'm seeing them coming in. I'm seeing some hearts coming in, you know, and I ask that because you have to get comfortable with you. So what am I talking about? Um, I'm not necessarily talking about the fact that some people go out to dinner by themselves. Some people go out and watch a movie by themselves. I like to have somebody to talk to. I like I like to have somebody to after the movie to share with, like, oh, you saw that when this happened. What did you think? What did you think? Well, what do you think about the ending? Well, what if it had gone this way? So I'm meaning get comfortable with you. Angelita says, "What if it's both? Both? Well, put a laughing emoji if it's both. Um, but you have to get comfortable with you. And what I mean by that is determining that happiness. What do you enjoy? You got to be able to find that within you, and that's independent of somebody else. Um, what are your guilty pleasures? You know, and some people have their war room, that closet where they go and they have that moment by themselves. It's totally independent of anybody else. Where they're spending time with themselves. They could be meditating and talking to God, but it's what is it that you enjoy? That's how you get comfortable with you. What's bringing you? What is that thing that you can do to bring you peace? Um, where is it that you can go to find that peace? Is that somewhere in your home? Is it in your shower? For my parents of small children, do you got to lock yourself in the bathroom? You know, where is that you can go to find your peace? Because that's how you get comfortable with you, where you still yourself and you can be quiet. Um, if you have a deck, you have a back porch or whatever, so that you can have that moment. But you've got to get comfortable with you. And what I mean is, it some people feel the need to be around people. They can't have fun unless they're with other people. But you got to get comfortable with you, and you got to get to know who you are as an individual. What are your likes? Not the Hannah Montana movie or pretending to like jazz and long walks in the park. That just sounds like a dating profile, right? But really just getting to know you and getting comfortable with yourself. Know thyself. That's what I really want to say. The next thing that I would say that is important in determining what your happiness looks like is setting some personal goals to focus on. Earlier this year, I gave an impromptu inspirational moment. I'll say uh, I was there. And somehow my name got put on the program. And I just talked about, vision. It's 2020. 2020, we associate that with 2020 vision. And Habakkuk 2 and 2 says, write the vision and make it plain. So I was just inspired to talk about what is that thing that keeps nagging at you, that you know that you really need to do. You keep dreaming about it, you keep thinking about it. And I'm not talking about cleaning out your closet, going out there reorganizing the garage, putting your spices in order in the pantry. I'm not talking about any of those things. What's that thing that will give you a personal sense of accomplishment? What is that? That's what I'm talking about, a personal goal. I mean, it can be as large or as small as you want it to be. Well, I've always wanted to be an author. Well, write the book. What's stopping you? What's on that vision board that you made in January when you had planned that cute little vision board party with with all of your friends and stuff like that? You plan the party, but you ain't executing your vision. I know I'm talking to somebody out here. Everybody doing vision boards nowadays. What is that thing that you know that you need to do? That vision that you have that's within you. First, start with writing it down. I'm always going to say write it down. Write it down. Get you a piece of paper on your phone. Don't end the live video so you can put it in your notes, but go just write it down so that you can see it. If you write it down, it's more likely to happen. Just like if I don't put stuff on my grocery list, guess what? I'm going to walk out of the store with something that I need, without something that I need. So write it down. That's the make it plain part. Write the vision and make it plain. Write it down in detail what it is that vision is. And then make a plan to reach it. If it's, like I said, as an example, if it's writing a book, start with writing the book. Then what comes next logically? Get somebody to edit it. Get somebody to publish it. It's even more easier to do nowadays than ever. When I published my book 4 years ago, I self-published, but there were a lot of things that went into doing that. But it's a lot easier now. You could just literally go Google how to publish a book, how to write a book. It starts with writing the vision. Write it down and make a plan. Put an end date on it. When are you going to finish writing it? When are you planning to publish it? It puts you on a timeline. But set some personal goals that you can focus on. Now, the last thing that I'm going to suggest is, in finding your happiness after divorce, is go to therapy. I said it. I know that some people don't agree, that they feel that going to therapy means there's something wrong with you. Hey, guess what? Won't nobody know you going to therapy except for you and your therapist, unless you tell somebody. It changed my life. And I want to say, while I have this time and have this audience, that therapy can change your life. You have a person that is going to help you figure out those things that aren't going so well, to help you get to where you want to be. So talk to a therapist. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. You have therapy in your church. You have therapists that through your insurance. So there's so many opportunities. And don't just call your friends that you know that are therapists and try to get that free therapy. They know you. They have a personal connection with you. You need somebody else that knows nothing about you. And like Angelita said, it's totally necessary. Those who have gone to therapy, I know you know what I'm talking about. One of my friends, she is a therapist. I know she'll see this video later, but we've talked about that. In the Black community, it has a negative there's a negative view of therapy, because somebody will say, well, what's wrong with you then? It's because you're going to therapy. I want to say what's right with me, because I realize that I need somebody to talk to work through some things. Oh, that's right. Angelita put the hashtag silence the shame associated with seeking mental health resources. Yeah, definitely. There is no shame in it. I didn't hang my head. I didn't shed a tear in telling you I went for 4 years straight, and it helped. It helped me a lot. So, um, just wrapping up and talking about the tips that I've given today. So, finding happiness after divorce. Happiness is within you. You have to define what that is. I can't tell you, no one else can tell you what it is, but it's within you. It's not someone else's job to keep you happy. You've got to get comfortable with you. That's my second tip. Get comfortable with you. Find out what puts you at peace. Get comfortable being by yourself, um, so that you can have some business about yourself, something else going on other than what everybody else has going on. Trust me, it makes things way better. um, the next tip is set some goals. Write the vision, make it plain. Set some goals that you can focus on. If you're focusing on those goals and you're saying every day after I get off work, I'm going to spend 30 minutes, or I'm going to spend an hour, and on Saturdays I spend 2 hours, whatever it is, you're dedicating to yourself. You're promising to yourself that you're going to execute something. And lastly, I know I talked about it quite a bit. Go to therapy. You'll find your happiness by finding what's keeping you unhappy. And I'm a witness that definitely works. So thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I am Miss Counsel. Please like, share, and post this video. Shouts out to my girl Angelita. She's on. She made this shirt for me, my Miss Counsel Knows shirt. Thank you so much for you all joining me. Please join my group, Divorced Like Us. There is a link on this video. Please like my Miss Counsel page. I'm almost to 200 followers. I need 3 more people today to like that page. But thank you all so much for joining me. Please share this video on your page. And I just appreciate you all so much. If you have some ideas for topics, text me, send me messages on Messenger, whatever, emails. Y'all know how to get in contact with me. Comment on this video, and I will definitely get to talking about your topic. And I was trying to see my next topic next week. It was a suggestion, and this one was a suggestion as well. We'll be talking about intimacy in relationships. Thank you all for joining me tonight. You be blessed and you stay safe.